Alright, there's that. Gonna send out dim tweet. We're starting the pre-show because we are starting the pre-show. Alright. We got our notes here. And,
Michael
team
Flatley, we've
first.
talked about the Seahawks. Come on.
My team.
I don't know. Football,
Oh.
I can't. I don't have a specific team anymore.
Oh, Sog.
Because there are no LA Raiders anymore.
LA Raiders. That was a
They'll be
long
back.
ass time ago. Yeah,
back
no, I just kind of stopped watching football in general at some point. Like I guess I appreciate the tactics and the strategy that goes into it, but there's also a whole lot of like the potential like permanent brain damage and stuff that like that's the part I don't watch it for.
Yeah, but
So-
those people know. I mean, at this point, maybe not back in the day, but at this point, those people know.
Yeah, but that's the
That-
problem.
that's
It's
the
all the
thing.
ones back in the day who didn't know, who weren't getting a real
Yeah.
paycheck, are living on the streets and stuff.
That's true. Can't live in the past, though, Neural.
That's true. But I don't know. I'd rather watch people play League of Legends, I think, or Smite. Actually, probably more Smite. I really like the scale and the pacing of that game a lot more.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we actually were. Actually, it's well, we can talk about that a little bit now, like the idea of the combat system for Landmark. What's the combat system we want to see rather than what we have right now? And Zog was bringing up Smite as a good example, and it would definitely work. It fits the bill. It utilizes the 3D space properly. In fact, if you want to just put out your details about your argument there, go right ahead.
My biggest complaint with combat as it stands, I don't know that it's too much of a complaint. Michael Flatley was kicking my ass last night, mostly because he's better than I am, right? I understand this. But the way it feels, I don't like that the left mouse button for that basic attack for all three weapons there's a cast time associated with it. I really like the feel in Smite where for your basic attack, if you just hold down the left mouse button, you would continually, keep slashing or keep shooting at a reasonable pace. And then I feel like because they made it so the other abilities are bound to a one button click, that there's this artificial delay time built in. Where another thing that I think Smite does well is, so you've got your automatic ability that doesn't really take any energy, and you can just hold it down and slash as much as you want. You should be able to shoot as many arrows as you want. You should have a basic attack with the staff. But then to activate other abilities, it would be nice to have a button that activated it so that the next time you used your left click, you were using one of the special abilities. And then with that, you had some sort of better visual guide as to where you were aiming. For the staff, big orb. It should look like you are controlling pasting a sphere. So you should be able to see where it is. You should be able to guide it and not somehow hope that the way your cursor is mapping onto the terrain that you're near where it's supposed to go. You should be able to see exactly where that's happening, and the delay should be in the load time of your visual attack box, not after you click the button, there's a little bit of a delay and it messes with your movement. So instead of like if you move, you cancel your cast, it puts you in this I'm in slow mo. Uh, it it just doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Uh,
There's something, for the timing of things and being able to understand where your timers are at and everything. So the idea that, okay, so here's the circle that goes around my reticle for where I'm aiming, having a quarter circle of each, in each quadrant, representing the timers and cooldowns of your different abilities. Because what you're talking about is maybe a system where you've got maybe 4 abilities on top of your basic attack.
Sorry, I'm replying to Pantera in chat. Um, for the basic attack, I don't think there should be any energy use, and I think that every attack should be tied to your left mouse button. Is that the question?
No, no, it was about how many attacks aside from the left click do you think we should actually have?
Just 3 or 4
3 or 4.
at the most is fine.
Okay.
And then anything on top of that, like I don't mind on top of that having a like a 5 or a 6 that are not attack abilities, but your movement ability is an ability. Your grapple is an ability. There could be another alternative to where you equip a grappling hook as a movement accessory. You could equip I don't know, rocket boots with a short boost. There are all kinds of different options that you could put in. The grappling hook is nice, and it would be tough to come up with an equally powerful option to that. But 4 different attacks. So you've got a basic attack, you've got 3 special attacks, and a 4th ultimate attack. It's a system that's been working in the Dota-style MOBA and carried over into Smite very, very well. Adding a couple things on top of that wouldn't kill it, but it's not necessary. We don't, especially with the fixed combat reticle, we don't want to more hybridize it more like Terra and have a big bunch of abilities, or it shouldn't be Vanguard where you got
I agree.
80 things on your bar and you've got to hope that you got to shrink it down real small in the corner and hope that you remember what icon means what, because you've still got to click it.
Yeah. WoW
I
had
think
the same sort of thing.
3+1 has been very successful for a reason, and Mellow Melon seems to agree with that. I like it.
I want to actually give a little shout out to everybody in chat here before, because I want to catch up, but I scrolled up here real quick. Serial Pantera, Calm, Arrest, Dark Boo, Michael Flatley, Lowell, Rudinell, Diggs. Who else we got? Caladorian up in here, Throckmorton, Mellow Melon, of course. So all you awesome folks, thank you very much for coming. And I sent out a tweet maybe a few minutes ago when we started up. Definitely everybody give that a retweet. Get some more people up in here. We'll have a good old time. Yeah, no, I remember playing WoW with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hot bars of 10 abilities, each one being unique abilities. Because I was a Tauren Shaman engineer, and I had so much stuff that I had to manage at once. So it was kind of fun. Like my number pad was literally all of my totem management. Whenever I wanted to put down the various elemental totems for whatever purposes, it would usually be like slamming just a row of buttons like /852 or something like that was the 4 elements that I needed for whatever the situation was, or other crazy combinations. It got kind of funny.
I had 5 mouse buttons bound to for like mouse click events, for normal clicks, shift clicks, control clicks, and alt clicks, Plus, I used my number keys in WoW.
Damn. Man, that game. It's like flying a spaceship and having like all these buttons and switches and everything that you have to control.
But then it's still just coming down to a quick time event. It's still. I was a healer in WoW, and it's still. Did you click when at the right time? That's what it. That's what it was. Kremjek, what do you think about combat?
I don't get what your view on the everything should be left click. Why do you think that? What would be better about everything being on a left click rather than the current system?
I like the idea of being able to open up my right click for camera movement again. If I wanted to be able to pan around and look, I like that. It doesn't even matter what the button is, as much for the attack button, but because there are artificial delays built in after you press buttons, and there isn't very good telegraphing of where you're attacking from the attacker's perspective, not the get out of the red circle feeling for the defender. But if I'm saying that I want to be able to hold the button down to auto attack, if I want to use a special attack, I use a button to load it up. And while it's loaded up, it's that same button, whatever it is, whether it's the space bar or the enter key, or the left mouse button is just a choice. But I would love right mouse button for camera. I don't like the E key because for me E is a movement key. It feels like it should be a movement key. And I was
Actually, Warframe has it was Warframe that has E for melee. That was the first game I played that introduced that. You have your left click and your right click for, I believe that was your primary and secondary on the weapon. But then when you want to do melee, when you want to get up close on someone, you just press E, and then you would mash combinations with E and other things like the jumping air slide with the attack, so you get your glide going. But yeah, no, I could see with how long we had been using the grappler for the E button, everybody being used to using that for movement, for sure.
So, Sog, are you saying? I'm just trying to understand exactly your point. I mean, at that point, why don't we just have T be auto attack and we just press T at the beginning, and then we just have our abilities, set up the way, like say WoW does it, but with less. I mean, at that point, if you're able to move the camera around, then we're not going to have that reticle aiming, and if you have the auto attack, you might as well just have tab targeting and just go back to how WoW does it.
I would just say that I would keep the reticle. I would keep skill shots on abilities, but while you're in combat, you should be able to hold down the right mouse button to just get a little bit of a side glance or look around behind you. And then when you let go of it, you snap back to forward view. It's I'm not saying that we get rid of the reticle targeting system with that, but to have the ability to look around and then snap back. And I feel like having a hold down the mouse to attack directly where you're aiming while you're doing it on a chain attack is very different to auto attack, which is really just, it was something that accidentally carried over from Deku mods with a /kill attack. It wasn't, I don't even think it was, I think it accidentally crept into graphic MMORPGs from some of the earliest mods, and as soon as people realized it was bad, it started to go away.
Well, I think part of it is they wanted to take the skill out of the timing of the attacks. They don't want people to worry about like mashing left click at the right time or anything like that. They just want to, okay, you just auto attack instead of holding the attack button and you attack. You just auto attack. I would say that was almost one of the most infuriating things about Ultima Online is that wizards had all these different abilities. You could cast all sorts of different spells to do different things, but as a melee fighter, all you had was auto attack. You would stand toe to toe and you would swing and then maybe use a potion if you need to or something. I can't even remember if you could use potions while you were in. They might have changed the rules on that at some point, but I can definitely say that I prefer a system where timing is utilized over just repetition. What I really like from H1Z1, in fact, is the fact that there's that combo system that when you miss, it's a longer recovery time, and if you make contact but you don't follow it up properly, there's a longer recovery time. But if you make contact and you immediately left click, you'll follow up with the next part of the chain, and if you can keep that going, they've talked about eventually having a finishing move in the combo, but I'm wondering if that's going to be an optional thing, and I really hope it is, so you can just keep wailing on something with a quick attack and not have to commit for a big heavy strike.
So instead of having it to where you can just hold down the button, do you think it would be a better system to where you could do that kind of skill-based combo system if you're continuing to click that left mouse?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it should be something where it's not a matter of, like I said, just attacking as quickly as you can, but that there's actually a whether it's in the animations or there's a bar or something else to represent it, some way that you can be more successful by being tactical rather than just spamming.
Right.
So more like a fighting game, like a 3D fighting game, which, begs, in order to make that work, we need things like physically opaque character models with realistic collision boxes, and we need blocking mechanics. And there are a lot of things that could go with it, and it would be a whole bunch of fun. I would love Bushido Blade, the MMO, where when you finally get through somebody's defenses and you score a hit, at the very least they lose a limb. At the norm, they die. I would enjoy playing that at least briefly.
I could see that. Actually, would be pretty interesting. So, what's this? QWE are pretty sacred movement keys for WoW. Q and E. What were Q and E used for in WoW? Is that your turn?
Strafing.
Oh, well, what were
Strafing.
A and D used for?
Turning,
Turning.
pivoting on your character model.
I guess I
The
used
opposite.
that.
Yeah.
The
So A and D
opposite, but
would turn you,
Yeah.
and then Q and E would just move sideways, but your camera would stay the same.
I pretty much remember having one or both of my left and right mouse buttons down pretty much all the time when I was playing WoW. So I don't really know if I used that as much. I might have actually rebound A and D for my strafing. I can't remember.
Well, also if you hold down the right click, then you strafe.
Oh, that's what
Just
it was
with
then.
A and D.
Yeah,
so that's probably what you did.
That's pretty much what I was doing the entire time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have carpaled my tunnels doing that. No way of knowing.
But mouse turning, and this is big in Final Fantasy XIV, that because of the way game servers update location, mouse turning can be a detriment for getting out of danger zones. That's why a lot of rating and say use your strafe buttons. That's how you get out of the fire. You either walk forward or you strafe out of it. That's it. You don't turn your mouse. You don't do anything. Don't let the system think too hard. It'll decide you die.
Yeah. So decide.
Ooh, arrow keys.
Arrow keys. Oh yeah.
I used to use arrow keys. I can't remember the last time I did it though.
I remember there was someone playing Legends of Might and Magic. It was one of 3DO's last games, 8v8 Counter-Strike clone fantasy sort of thing. They played that with keyboard. It was WASD, and then they used the keyboard to aim, I guess. Um, I don't know how it worked, but they were able to play it with some amount of skill. The thing with that game was that the latency was never represented properly. If you were the host, you would be able to see everyone properly and everyone would be able to see you properly, but everyone else, it would be basically you have to shoot essentially where they're going to be relative to where you see them with the lag. And so you would never be shooting at the model, you'd always be shooting at basically where the collision box is zero point 0.2 seconds ahead of now. And it made things really tricky.
I played an old Mythic game on AOL called Splatterball. It was a paintball game, and it was before anyone had a laser mouse, and it was before mouse targeting was really became the norm in first-person shooters. So, and it was kind of during that transition. So it went from you use WASD to move, and then you use the up and down keys to adjust the height at which you were shooting. And yeah, Michael Flatley played Mage Storm and Splatter. There were some old Mythic games that were a ton of fun and cost a fortune because you paid by minute to play the online game.
Oh
no!
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, it was during that transition period. So some of the guilds that or clans or whatever we called them then that were the best got replaced by the newer, I've got the new tech, which is a mouse to move with. That was a tech upgrade that was an advantage.
And
so it was fun.
Yeah, AOL $1.99 an hour if you didn't have the free the discs for the free time or whatever. But
that's the only time my family ever had
extra money
AOL.
During the game.
Right.
It was extra payment during the game too.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we did one free month and then we moved on to the local QNet service, which yeah, long gone.
Yeah, we just used up our minutes, and then we didn't have internet until the next CD came out.
There you go. Splatterball. I was vaguely familiar, but I never actually played it. I think the first online game I played other than some AOL mud was probably Diablo.
LAN Diablo.
Yeah, well, LAN Diablo and then BattleNet Diablo.
Okay.
Maybe I can't.
Never played BattleNet Diablo.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was fun, but it was like cheat and hack in nightmare mode. It was hilarious. It was so bad. Like you had to install cheats and stuff just to not get attacked by people with cheats and stuff and be able to play legit. So it was hilarious. It was either that, I can't remember if that came before Baldur's Gate on Heat.net, but that was another online, that was one of my other early games, like that, and Ultima Online. I think The Realm was one of the other early ones. We might have touched Meridian 59 for a moment, but didn't really find it interesting. Some old school stuff. First online console game for all of you guys. Mine was Phantasy Star.
Online console game? Mine was probably Madden a couple years ago. I didn't do online console.
Sacred 2. Only game I ever played online on a console. I only did it a couple times. And that I sent out a tweet with a music video from that game yesterday, actually.
That was funny. I actually have a shirt from that game. I was just wearing it a couple of days ago. It's it features the Boobsy main character in, Boobsy form or whatever. It's like when I went and saw the game, it's like, oh, okay, oh, the shirt's got a Boobsy character. Well, maybe the game's alright. That attack animation looks kind of suspect. This kind of looks like a I can't believe it's not Diablo 2 or what was that one? Realm something, Siege something. That Microsoft game that was kind of like Diablo.
I don't know. But anyway, what's our real topic for today, Neuro?
Oh yeah, so I guess we can finish up with the pre-show stuff and actually get into it. We've been pretty much set. Usually we need this 30 minutes for everyone to get all ready, but I think we're pretty much ready here.